И вдруг приходит такое учение: если ты будешь следовать за Богом, ты будешь бедный.
The Lord wasn't rich. The apostles were not rich.
Preachers who live in big homes and drive big cars are to re-examine their calling.
Вретище слуги было сказано, что это он сделал его исповедание, и я больше не слуга. Вы слышите меня? Наше время приходит. Я больше не раб.
But I'm going to say to you right now, you are God's, little g. You are God's because you came from God, and you are God's. You're not just human. The only human part about you is this physical body that you live in.
Я хочу сказать вам, что сегодня вы можете пожертвовать на наше служение.
Я хочу, чтобы вы пожертвовали сегодня на телевизионные передачи миссии Кеннета Коупленда.
Сделайте пожертвование.
me to preach the gospel. But God called you to support the gospel. Absolutely. And when you give, you're preaching the gospel too. It's just that simple.
Если вы говорите, да, это мое, я люблю эту передачу, я хочу, чтобы люди слышали то, что знает Бог, тогда пошлите свое пожертвование.
You're going to have to get involved with your money. These are money-mad preachers on television, money-mad preachers saying that God's desire for you is that you have the best. You have the best car. You have the best house. You have the best of everything. There's not one word of sin. There's not one of repentance. Not one word of the cross. It's all money, money, money.
I want my money now.
You just want to go on and say this. I'm going to get my money tonight.
Go ahead.
My question is, Jesus never asked for money. Why do you?
Well, Jesus didn't have a TV program.
We are the only ones who can preach the gospel. The only people in the universe, not just the earth, the only people anywhere who can preach the gospel.
We invest in people's lives, not only in our community, but all around the world.
I want you to hear me. If you will put the gospel back into your giving, God will take care of it. Absolutely.
Folks, my Bible calls them for what they are. These are wolves in sheep's clothing. And they'll give you 90% of what sounds like gospel. They'll give you something that makes you think there's a great teacher. And then out it comes. How many will give $1,000?
Can you send $100? Look, you may not be the one going around the world like I'm doing or Bonky, my friend, is doing. Maybe God hasn't called you to go out there and preach to the multitudes, but every time you sow that seed, every time you give, you are preaching.
I'm sorry to be so blunt. I think sometimes they air those things to get an offering. I'm sick and tired of it. Quit using the airwaves with a lie to raise money.
When you give to God TV, you are preaching the gospel.
Just because it's Christian TV, it doesn't mean it's God.
Когда дело доходит до финансов и изобилия, и богатства, которое может продвигать Евангелие по всему миру, то сатана постарался заставить нас думать, что это к этому не относится.
How do you react to the criticisms, one of them made on a program on this network, Impact, that you are given to extravagances, entourage to Europe, round trip on the Concorde, ministry picked up the tab, fly a private jet, often buy designer clothes, wears expensive Armani suits, house in Laguna Beach. Why do that as the spokesman of the Lord who,
well, first
I imagine Jesus didn't have any of that.
Former employees we talked to say when the Copelands are not on the road, they spend their days inside of their 18,000 square foot parsonage on the shores of Eagle Mountain Lake, surrounded by hundreds of acres of range and ranch land, not far from their tennis courts and boathouse.
Why do that as the spokesman of the Lord who,
well, first
I
of all,
imagine Jesus didn't have any of that.
Well, first of all, I disagree that preachers ought to wear sackcloth and that type of thing.
Preachers who live in big homes and drive big cars ought to re-examine their calling.